Wigan against Leicester, the defending champions. Wigan, who've made such an impact on the tournament this year. It really has been a great performance from them, and commentary on this particular match comes from Jamie Salmon and Eddie Hemmings.
Well, the moment now that many of the people here at Twickenham have been waiting for, this semi-final. And once again, all the seats have filled around Twickenham, and the Wigan supporters in this ground are making their presence felt as well. Wigan have beaten Richmond and Harlequins to get here. Leicester, the holders, as you say, have beaten London Scottish and Sale. Lost the League and Cup double to bat this past 2 weeks. But this is the Wigan team. They've made a couple of changes. Robinson, Twiggamala, Connolly has come in for Henry Paul. Sean Edwards, the captain, Andrew Farrell, and Rob Smythe replaces Martin Afire. Scott Quinnell completes the lineup. Those two both out injured. Leicester, Liley the captain, Reynolds, Malone, Hamilton, Tarbuck, Wingham and Robinson. An eagerly awaited match, this one. And can Wigan make it to the Middlesex Sevens final at their first attempt? Long kick-off again from Farrell, just as they did in the last round against Harlequins. They paid the price then. Liley, captain of Leicester, spreads the play out wide. Connolly is there to try and cut this attack down, but this now is Tarbuck. Releases the pass to Malone, over the top to Liley. There are players out wide. Ball goes to ground though. Who comes up with it? Leicester. Bounces off one player. Twiggamala's after the ball carrier. Connolly was in there quickly too. This is Hamilton. Kick over the top. A race between Hamilton and Robinson. Robinson's there, and Robinson doesn't really get away with it. The referee will play the knock-on.
Well, a good start from Leicester. They're keeping possession. That's the key thing. They're making it very hard for Wigan to get the ball. As we look at the Wigan captain, Sean Edwards, I still think their kick-off strategy leaves a bit to be desired, to be frank with you. I think they have to compete at kick-offs to try and get possession back.
Well, it is in rugby league their form to kick deep into the corners and allow the opposition to run the ball back. But this is a totally different set of rules they're playing under today, and a totally different strategy is called for. They've done all right so far. Liley out wide to Reynolds. Reynolds back on the inside, and then he takes the return. Does Liley? The ball drops. Wigan have got it back, but the referee will call them back for the knock-on.
Oh, that's harsh on Wigan, I thought. John Liley coming in on the straight one. You'll see the ball go over the top there.
Twiggamala must have got a little fingertip to it. Twiggamala playing in the front row today. Andrew Farrell at hooker. But it's Leicester again who have it, and Wigan being starved of possession. This is Reynolds trying to attack them out wide. Over there is Rob Smythe, who gets the tackle in. Connolly picks up the pieces. Liley's after him. Connolly spreads the pass out wide. Long, risky pass to Twiggamala in front of his own post. Edwards has come up in support, but here goes Twiggamala. Get out the way! Biff, bang, bash, one up, and Hamilton has been brushed aside 4 times. Well, after all that pressure, it's Twiggamala and Wigan who come up in the first try.
Well, as you say, the first time they've got the ball, once again, they've scored. Leicester had all the pressure, all the possession, all the position on the field. Yet when this man got it, I think Hamilton had 3 goes at him at the end. But Twiggamala had Edwards outside him, didn't need him at all, just changes the ball into the other arm, looks him in the eye, and says, goodbye, I'm off. Under the sticks. And Wigan, I suppose, are known to soak up a bit of pressure, then capitalise on the break.
Well, they have come out far more determinedly than they did in the quarter-final. 7-0. Farrell has added the extra 2. Deep kick-off this time from Leicester, and Smythe just touches it down behind his own try line.
Well, as the ball's gone over the try line without a Wigan player touching it, Wigan had the option of a 22 or a scrum back. obviously they've got more chance of getting the ball from a scrum than they have from a 22, so quite rightly Shaun Edwards has opted for the scrum.
Well, he's obviously read the rule books, Shaun Edwards. But one against the head for Leicester. Didn't come off for him, the gamble. Oh, Quinnell was there. I don't think that Jamie Hamilton realised it. There's pandemonium here. The referee again will pull it back. Penalty to Leicester, taken quickly by Liley. That's Malone, and the ball goes to ground from Richie Robinson.
Well, Leicester have got to make sure they keep their patience and keep their discipline. Any errors of their own will be heavily punished by Wigan, I'm sure. Richie Robinson missed the last round, just come in, to be fair. Really, once they've got the ball, Leicester, they must do everything they possibly can to retain it.
Penalty at the scrum. Andy Farrell, not a regular hooker. Shaun Edwards never usually has to feed the ball down the middle of a tunnel in the scrum either. Quinnell, all down, but unfairly. Connolly takes a quick tap penalty, men out wide. This is Edwards. They've got a 2-1 overlap. Farrell helps it out to Rob Smythe, and Rob Smythe scores. Will bring it back also underneath the posts to ease the conversion. Rob Smythe, the man who has stood in so many times for Martin of Fire in Super League this season while he's been injured, doing the same again here at the Sevens, coming up with the try.
Well, the overlap was always on. A matter of committing the men and then giving the pass. As much as Tarbuck tries to get across, there's no way you can ask a back row against a winger. But once again, good finishing from the Wigan players. They've only had the ball a couple of times. They've done the damage.
And Farrell adds the extras. So, 14-0 to Wigan. They seem to have had the ball just twice. The Orrell players watching from the sideline, disappointed, I'm sure, that they won't be in the final, but adding their support to the Wigan cause. Great camaraderie between the two clubs up north. And Rob Smythe, by the way, who scored that second Wigan try, he represented England in the World Nines in Fiji in February. So he knows what this sort of game is all about. Referee has penalised Farrell, though, for a high challenge. Leicester with the opportunity then to attack now with Tarbuck and Liley. Reynolds just accelerates through a gap. Quinnell is there quickly. Certainly Wigan look a lot more determined in the opening stages of this semi-final than they did in their quarter-final against Harlequins. Look to have come out with the right attitude. Tarbuck looking for Liley. Ball went to ground. Mind you, he had Twigger-Marl around him. Leicester having to go backwards before they come forwards, which they do now with Robinson. Connolly there. The crowd, every time Wigan go in for the tackle, say, ooh, they are. And now they're booing the referee who's given a penalty against them.
Well, I didn't think it was a high tackle, personally. I thought it was pretty fair.
Hamilton again. The ball goes to ground. Leicester will pick up the pieces once more. Wingham. And now Robinson. Space out wide for Robinson, but he goes inside himself, pops the ball up. Jason Robinson comes along and does some good defending. Quinnell gets the ball back for Wigan, and they get the great escape there, but that's good defence. Now Edwards again to Twigger-Marl. Oh. Well, even without his shirt, he can still get the pass away to Farrell. Andy Farrell, he's pretty quick for a loose forward in Super League. He's got the legs and Tarbuck. Farrell will just walk this one home behind the posts. Third Wigan try.
Well, they're learning pretty quickly, Wigan. They're soaking up the pressure. Leicester just can't finish off the moves. They've created gaps, but they cannot get anybody with real pace to finish it off for them. Twigger-Marl again, a couple of folks having a go at him. Tarbuck, who did well to try and get back and stop Farrell too. But really, there's pace all around this Wigan side. They sure know how to finish off when they get the ball, that's for sure. And really, against the possession, you wouldn't expect this lead.
Andy Farrell is no slouch. That is half-time. And Wigan have raced into a 21 points to nil lead after really Jamie having to weather an early storm from Leicester, who came out and looked all fired up themselves. Second half then, Wigan just 7 minutes away from a memorable appearance in the final of the Middlesex Sevens, and in possession with Connolly. First time we've seen Connolly today, and he's given Smythe so much space, and Smythe can motor, and Smythe gets away from the despairing challenge of Reynolds and goes in for his second. Either side of half-time, Wigan have hit Leicester with tries, just as they do so often in Super League. They play for the full length of the half, never a second lost.
Well, the key thing was Quinnell's win from the kick-off. He secured it, secured the possession. Connolly's lovely long pass. Smythe just relied on his pace, didn't bother to transfer the ball into his left hand to use the fend with his right.
Farrell adds the extras, and Wigan are on their way to the final, I fancy, at 28 points to nil against the holders. And it's been a miserable few weeks for Leicester, hasn't it? They lost the league and cup double to Bath. They lost the Pilkington Cup final here last Saturday, and it looks like they're on the way out of the Middlesex Sevens here this afternoon. Kick-off from Malone. Again, Quinnell wins it. He has been so important in getting the ball for Wigan from the kick-off. Twiggamala, even on one leg, he gets the pass away to Quinnell. Tackle not completed. Now it is. Releases the pass. Farrell fires a long ball from one side of the field to the other. Robinson nonchalantly over his head, but the referee, I think, saying that was a forward pass in the end.
Yes, but also, there's old Quinnell, Scott Quinnell, as he burst through there. He's put on a yard or two of pace since he went north, I can tell you that from his Union days, and he looks as though it's cost him dear.
Yes, he's coming up, looks like maybe he's pulled a groin there, Scott Quinnell. So it's going to be Chris Radlinski making his first appearance. Just as I said, that Quinnell's presence on the far side from these kickoffs so important to Wigan. He pulls a groin, and Radlinski has to come on and take his place. This win, if win it will be today for Wigan, coming at a price.
Well, it looks that way. I was just going to add too, they've lost a Union forward or somebody who's played Union in the past, and that could cost them perhaps a fair bit in the final.
Yes, they've lost O'Fire injured, they've lost Henry Paul injured, and now they've lost Quinnell. Think over the top from Reynolds, swept up by Radlinski. Here's Connolly. Connolly going outside. Malone gets the pass back to Robinson. This is Farrell. Robinson went for the return, and they made a right meal of that. Following up behind, Leicester pick up the pieces again. Reynolds, great tackle by Radlinski. Ball held back to Lively. Twiggamala's after him, but the pass inside to Malone in the end, and Niall Malone gets an easy try. Wigan a bit undone by overindulgence themselves, but credit to Leicester for this try.
Yeah, indeed, and that was a pretty good tackle, wasn't it? But really, Leicester deserves some points on the board, I think. They really have had good position and good pressure. John Lively again there. And then it was a very comfortable run-in for their opening try.
Now Malone with the try. And the amazing thing about these big hits and big tackles by Wigan is the reaction from this Twickenham crowd, Jamie, to them. There are sort of gasps of amazement almost when people like Radlinski fly in the tackle and bring the man down.
Well, it's an art form, and I don't think the Union boys have quite worked it out yet.
Simon Beetham has come on for Leicester. Farrell restarts. Lively underneath it. I just wonder what repercussions we will see as a result of this foray to Twickenham for Wigan over the next few weeks. If O'Fire, Paul and Quinnell have picked up serious injuries, and it looks like Quinnell's is a groin strain, which takes a few weeks to recover from. I wonder what it will do to their chances in Super League. Edwards got a hand for that pass.
Just noticing from the kick-off there, Wigan, and I'm being ultra critical here, as we see that just go off Edwards' hand. They've got to learn to come up as one line. They're coming up very staggered, and that obviously creates gaps and holes around them. They must just have some discipline, not to come up too much at pace or a couple of guys at pace, just as one line, and therefore they form a wall across the pitch. At the moment, they're just a little bit too staggered.
Looks like Radlinski is packing down there in the scrum for Wigan. A fullback or a winger or a centre at times. Never been involved in the heavy traffic. Referee will bring the play back again for another knock-on and another scrum for Chris Radlinski to jump into.
The question you have to ask, Eddie, is look at the possession there, which Leicester have got the share of, is that if Wigan suffer another injury, they're going to be short for the final. I don't know if Howe, Paul and Afire, whether they may come back to the semi, but I would doubt it.
Maybe not. Edwards under all sorts of pressure, and he was being held back there, but the referee allows play to continue. And off the floor, Leicester keep this ball alive. Long pass over the head of Smythe into the arms of Liley. That was a great pass indeed, but it popped up lovely for Connolly. Support is there from Farrell. Here's another try. Second try for Andrew Farrell. Nothing that Richie Robinson could do about that. And Farrell gets another 5 points and a pat on the back as well from his opposite.
Meanwhile, back at halfway, Twiggy Marlis is having a chat with a couple of the Leicester boys and checking they're all right as they get up slightly, but it's Connolly who makes the break. Farrell there in support. The support play is so good from Wigan. And he just coasts in to add to this very comfortable lead now that Wigan have got. They're going to have to take it easy, though, these last few minutes, I think.
They are. But he's kicking well also now, Farrell, with these conversions. 35 points to 7. Wigan lead. Rugby League champions for the past 7 years. World Club champions 3 times. It's play on, says the referee. Liley. Tarbuck stop. Out wide it goes. And Hamilton will score. Just improves the angle slightly. Applause from this Twickenham crowd for Leicester, who haven't given it up.
No, Jamie Hamilton's had a very good tournament as well. There were 2 runners coming back on the angle there. Liley was one. Tarbuck got a little bit between ideas here. Stop, go. And eventually the wide ball out to Hamilton, and even Tugamala couldn't prevent Hamilton going over for a try.
Conversion attempt is drawn in front of the posts. Leicester's agony ends. Liley and Twigamala quickly shake hands, as does Robinson.